So, let me talk about the Baltimore Ravens once again. The Baltimore Ravens drafted Rashod Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota, with the 27th overall pick in the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft. And I believe this was a great addition for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And I actually felt that if Rashod Bateman was on the board for the Baltimore Ravens, they were going to take him. I actually had him mocked to the Philadelphia Eagles when I did my mock draft, but I felt that if Rashod Bateman was there, the Baltimore Ravens were going to take him because I felt that he was a perfect fit for their offense, and the Ravens needed to upgrade their wide receiver core. If you watch the Baltimore Ravens at any point over the past couple of years, you would have known one of their biggest weaknesses is the wide receiver position, okay? And right now, the Baltimore Ravens, they're in a stage where they are in the Super Bowl conversation. But I don't think they're quite amongst the favorites, with Kansas City, with Tampa Bay, with Cleveland, who's in their own division, They're not quite in that class. You got Lamar Jackson, an MVP-level quarterback, who is excellent. You have a great run game. You have a pretty good defense. And you have a head coach in John Harbaugh, who's won a Super Bowl in the past. I think that John Harbaugh still is a pretty good head coach right now today. Definitely. But if you've watched the Baltimore Ravens over the past couple of years, like I said, you know that they struggle to come from behind, and they just have needed to be more dynamic on offense in regards to when they've been in the playoffs. They haven't been as dynamic as Kansas City or Buffalo or Tampa Bay. That's been their downfall. But the Baltimore Ravens this offseason, they went big on wide receiver. They signed Sammy Watkins. They drafted Taylor Wallace later on in the draft, who I think is going to be really good as well. But we're going to stick to Rashod Bateman because I think Rashod Bateman is a guy to pay attention to. And I believe Rashod Bateman and Lamar Jackson could eventually build a special connection. They could become a great quarterback and wide receiver duo. And Rashod Bateman could be the number one wide receiver that puts Lamar Jackson over the top. Remember, Kyler Murray, before he got DeAndre Hopkins, he was good, but he wasn't as good as he is right now. Josh Allen, before he got Stephon Diggs, we didn't see these flashes from Josh Allen every single week. We saw it every now and then. But Josh Allen's a totally different quarterback from the time in which he didn't have Stephon Diggs to where he has Stephon Diggs right now. A whole different quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, he's really, really good. Won the league MVP this past year. But a big reason is because Devontae Adams is a beast. You look at Patrick Mahomes. He has Tyreek Hill, arguably the most lethal weapon in all football, at least the fastest wide receiver and fastest weapon in all football. The point is, the Ravens owed it to Lamar Jackson to find him a legitimate number one wide receiver. Now, when you look at Rashod Bateman, he's about 6 foot tall, 6'1", but his kind of lack of height doesn't really worry me because Antonio Brown is 5'10". He's one of the greatest wide receivers of our generation. Going to be potentially a Hall of Famer one day, depending on who you ask. You look at Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin and Rashod Bateman are about the same size, and Terry McLaurin, he's excellent. Tyreek Hill, he's a smaller guy, but he gets the job done because he's a special player. And I think Rashod Bateman plays a lot bigger than his size. This guy is able to win 50-50 balls. He's violent in the open field as far as breaking tackles, making things happen with the ball in his hands. And also, Rashod Bateman comes across as a guy that's a team player because the Baltimore Ravens, they run the football, so they ask their wide receivers to block a lot. I think he's going to be a willing blocker. I think the Baltimore Ravens hit it out the park by drafting him. I think Rashod Bateman's a guy to keep your eye on. Could he be the weapon that puts Lamar Jackson and the Ravens over the top? We shall see. I believe it's possible. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.